Welcome to Talking Black and Blue, where the rivalries run deep and every Sunday is a battle. I'm your man, Will McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the Black and Blue division. So whether you wear green and gold, Honolulu blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
What's going on? Let's get into this week one recap happening. But before we do that, just want to let everybody know that Will and I are realtors here in Metro Detroit. So if you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, contact us, get in touch with us. We are the realtors that will get it done for you. Will, what about this week one recap?
So, man, I thought we had some great games this week, man. I enjoyed watching I did watch all of the Packers Lions game. I didn't watch all of the Chicago Minnesota game. Only got to catch bits and pieces of it here and there, but I did review the game, went and watched all the highlights. I love to look at the game book. Go to NFL.com, and if you look at the box score at the bottom of it, it'll have a link that says download the game book. And the
Okay.
game book has all the details. It shows you the starting lineup, who the referees are, the attendance. They actually detail, all 140 plays.
Okay. Okay.
And then they've got some interesting stats at the end of it. They show you the top 10 um, plays that gain the most yards for each team. So a lot of good information you can get there. So, if I miss a game, I try to go to NFL.com and watch the highlights and then go and review the game book. So, yeah, I thought we had some great games this week, man. Great come from behind win by Minnesota. Um, uh, uh, Dominating performance. I don't know if I want to say dominating, but definitely for lack of a better word, I'll say dominating performance by the Packers. Definitely looked like the team people picked to go to the Super Bowl. They looked very well. So yeah, I was I definitely appreciated both games this week. So what game or moment from last week stuck out to you the most?
What stuck out to me the most is that the Bears have a problem, and his name is Caleb Williams.
Oh, really? Oh, right off the
We saw some improvement. I mean, he was able to hit his first 10 throws and was on script, but we also saw that when they started adding pressure, he reverted back to Caleb Williams that we saw last season and when he was in college. So for me, that entire second half, did you know I went into this game wanting to see what Caleb had and what JJ had.
uh-huh.
So I was specifically just looking to see how these two were going to do, right?
Oh.
So the entire second half I was disappointed. And
Mhm.
I understand it's only been 6 months that he's been working with Ben Johnson. However, the inaccuracy
Mhm.
that we saw that was displayed
Okay.
is problematic.
Mhm.
Is problematic. He couldn't hit the mid-range. It's only the first game of the season.
Uh-huh.
I'm I'm anticipating that there's going to be some improvements there, but when his nature is that when I get in trouble, I'm going to run. And he has some successful runs.
Yes, yes. And he's faster than I thought he was too.
It seemed like he picked up a little speed,
Mhm.
but that second half, he looked like he didn't understand a single thing about playing quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
He
I would say, looking at that game, just from the highlights that I saw, man, I think a lot of the parts that I did watch, when your offensive line is struggling, when the defensive line is whipping your offensive line, your plays don't look as good. Everything starts to look ugly. Then it becomes a lot of improvisation. Uh,
right,
and with him, he tends to hold on to the ball too long anyway.
right, and that's been a knock on him is that he's held on to the ball too long, and even on his completions, he was he wasn't hitting his receivers in stride.
Okay.
Right. So when you look at, I'm just using Jared Goff as an example because
Hmm.
Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for Detroit.
Right.
Goff hits his receivers in stride, and they get those yards after catch.
Right.
They have the ability to get the yards after catch because that ball is hitting them in stride. They're not stopping. They're not having to reach back. With Caleb, his receivers had to stop to catch the ball, or they had to jump to get to the ball, or they had to reach back to get that ball. So again, when you're talking about he holds the ball too long,
Hmm.
I mean issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you can Ben Johnson increase his internal clock? Can we get him to play faster as a passer versus holding that ball and then getting in trouble and taking a sack or taking a play for loss, right?
Yeah. And he took too many sacks last year too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That rhythm and timing with the passing game, that a lot of times, and just as an example, and I'm not saying that I'm hesitant to say to apply this particular to this game because I didn't see it. I didn't see enough of it um, to say that this actually applies. Just food for thought. A lot of times with the passing game, when you see a ball going behind the receiver, a lot of times the quarterback wanted the receiver to stop and the receiver didn't stop. As
Hmm.
long as, I get you in a window, I want you to catch this ball in the window. I'm not trying to take you to the next window or I'm taking you into a defender. So sometimes it's the quarterback will get blamed for throwing the ball behind the receiver, and it's the receiver was supposed to stop and catch the ball and not keep going. So sometimes that's just repetition and rhythm. And you talked about comparing that to Jared Goff. Jared Goff had been in the league 6 years
Right.
before Ben Johnson became his offensive coordinator.
Hmm.
So he had done and had seen a lot. So a little hesitant to start to paint too early of a picture of Caleb, but I do agree there are some areas of his game that definitely need improvement.
Yeah, it's not that we want to dump on him after game one. It's just I wanted to see more improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And physically, he looks like he improved.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, the control of the game and your posture and the way you look,
Mm-hmm.
those things make a difference. He looked like he was frazzled,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to say, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. He looked like he couldn't figure out what was going on, and that showed on his face when he was on the sideline.
Yeah, and he does tend to wear his
You
emotions
just
on his face.
when you just oppose that to the way McCarthy looked,
Mm-hmm.
he was engaged.
Uh,
He didn't look like he had a problem.
okay.
He had a problem. His coaches were able to give him a solution,
Oh,
and he trusted that. He looked like he had confidence
Hmm.
in his ability and what the coaches were telling him. So,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kevin O'Connell. He knows how to get a quarterback through a game.
yeah, I'm about to hit you with a surprise when you ask me this next question.
And that is okay. But tell me, who was your standout player of the week on both offense and defense?
My offensive player of the week, Kevin O'Connell.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me think if that's even fair.
This dude,
But I'm
it,
going to give it to you. I'm going to let you have it. Like I said, because I'm such a fan of his, man.
I'm gonna break it down. This dude is a quarterback whisperer.
I don't like those terms. I don't like whisper, guru, genius, but I'm going to allow it for Kevin O'Connell.
Man, the way JJ started out and the way he finished,
Yes.
come on, man. I gotta,
I'm with you, man. I lay that at the feet of the coach, man. That's I
yes, yes,
that is definitely outside of the box, and I have to accept that, man. I love Kevin O'Connell.
yeah,
You're right. He is a quarterback whisperer. Like I said, I don't even like those terms, man. Whenever I hear that stuff, I'm like, get out of here with all of that. I
but
know
he
it's
has a way.
genius, guru, all that stuff, but Kevin O'Connell does a great job with quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, he does. He has a way of communicating with the quarterbacks and instilling confidence in them so that they can go out and feel comfortable with the game plan and making the plays and understanding that I'm still going to be proud of you no matter what. Like, does he ever yell at him?
But
It's a conversation. It's always a learning opportunity.
always teaching,
He's all
always teaching.
right. And I think when you have someone that's a leader that's always teaching and teaching in a loving way, that player is going to do more. And
Yeah.
because they feel comfortable knowing that if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. I'm just, it's going to be a teaching moment, right? I can go out here and I can ball. And
For
that,
him to have thrown, for JJ to have thrown a pick six, and,
yeah,
and for him to have been struggling the way he was, but for O'Connell to find plays that fit him,
right.
find plays he was comfortable with, and got him through the second half of that game. And yeah, I hear you. I give it to you for that.
Kevin O'Connell is my
Yeah.
offensive player of the week. What about you?
What about defensive? Give me your defensive play.
Yes. Defense, this is surprising because when I looked at some of the details of the two games, I was like, what am I looking at?
Mm.
So my defensive player of the week is the Chicago Bears, Noah Sewell.
You are with Panay's little brother. Is it
Right.
his brother or
This
his cousin? He's got a brother and a cousin.
brother,
I believe.
this
That's his
brother.
brother. Okay, okay. Yeah.
This young man had a total of 9 tackles, 7 were solo.
He was all over the place.
It
Yeah.
was all over the place. So it begs the question, because he only had 5 snaps last year,
Oh,
begs the question,
really?
what was Eberflus, Eric Washington, doing with this young man in 2024?
See,
Can you,
I'm going to be on Eberflus's side with this. He was developing the young man. He was getting him ready.
he was getting them ready. Okay, okay. 9 total tackles, 7 solo tackles. That's my defensive player of the week.
All right, so you got Kevin O'Connell and what's his Noel Soon.
Yes, yes.
All right, this I had a tough time defensively finding somebody. So A tough time because there were a lot of guys who I thought had great games, right? I thought Brian Branch from the Lions had a great game, but
Yeah.
then he got that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in the game, and you can't be out there doing that. I had said in our preview shows, I thought that Quay Walker needed to step up for the Packers. I thought he played a great game for the Packers in shutting down the Lions, and so did Edgerrin Cooper, their other linebacker. Your man, Javon Hargrave, had 2 sacks this week, so he was definitely a candidate.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Kayshawn Wright, the cornerback from Chicago. He
Okay.
got the pick six against Minnesota. You score points defensively. You know, you've done your job, right? So I'm going to go with Kayshawn Wright defensively. And offensively, I'm going to go. I basically picked the same player you did because I picked JJ. So yeah, JJ is my offensive player of the week for all of the reasons you said Kevin O'Connell is the offensive player of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody surprise you this week?
Anything surprised me around the league this week?
Or just in our in the NFC North? Anything that happened in those two games that surprised
Uh, the way the Lions look,
you? Mm,
they're, I mean, the defensive line and the lack of pressure that they were able to get,
mm-hmm,
that really surprised me. I
mm,
wasn't so much surprised by the offensive line.
mm,
It felt like they would play better than they did, but to not be able to get any pass rush,
mm,
Jordan Love, that truly surprised me.
mm. Okay, okay. And for me, it was Minnesota finishing the way they did after starting the way they did. I thought um, JJ would struggle. I didn't think he would struggle as bad as he did in the first half. I thought it would be some, your typical rookie struggles.
Hmm.
Starting his first game on the road, right? A Monday night game. Um, like I said, I think I thought they would win the game though, but I thought it would be more of their running game, and they did get the running game going.
Yeah.
Kind of helped them out in the second half. But yeah, I was surprised with JJ. All right, talk about team focus. Okay, talk about each individual team in the NFC North. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. How do you think they feel after week one?
I think Green Bay feels like they are a contender for the NFL championship after week one. They came in, they handled Detroit. It really wasn't a game. It really wasn't that competitive of a game.
Mhm,
So I think they feel really confident
mhm,
and they can trust their defense.
mhm.
So if they can keep most teams under 21, 24, they should feel confident that they're going to win a lot of games this year. And, you know, they could probably win the NFC North and show up in the in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Um, I'm not going to point out right now that I did predict that the Packers would be the NFC North champions and play in the conference championship game. I'm not going to point that out, but
Right. However,
I would I would agree with you that I'm sorry, say that again.
they do have an important game this week.
They've got yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, yes. But yeah, after week one, I would agree with you. They look like the team a lot of people thought they were, right? If you're talking about that game in particular and what you were saying, Detroit didn't look like the team people thought they were. I thought the Packers were going to win that game, but like you said, I didn't think Green Bay would dominate that game the way they did. And they really did. They controlled that game throughout. There was never a time where Detroit really threatened and that game was in doubt. All right. What about just going in the division in order of record right now in standings? What about the Minnesota Vikings? How do you think they should feel this week or after week one?
After week one, Minnesota Vikings should feel on top of the world. They have their quarterback.
Mm,
He was JJ McCarthy in the fourth quarter was solidified their their support in him, right? He's a gamer. He truly is a gamer. He had a 65% completion rate for 143 yards, two passing touchdowns, one rushing touchdown. I think that's history making for a
mm.
rookie in the fourth quarter. So you have just like last year when they had what was the guy's name?
Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Hmm.
And they were chanting and they had Darnold all on their shoulders and everything. You continue that with JJ McCarthy. The their defense is solid. So again, if the defense can keep the opponents from scoring a lot of points, Minnesota could win a lot of games. They could win a lot of games. But I think they should feel really confident with where they're at as far as their quarterback situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think Minnesota um, should feel confident in where they are, where they're headed. I'm a little hesitant to say that they have their quarterback right now. Like I said, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be the quarterback this year and next
Mhm.
before they actually make a decision on him. And like I said, I'm not. I don't know if I'm there yet to say that he is their quarterback. He certainly looks like he's headed in that direction. Uh, like you said, he is a gamer, and he that is what he always has been, right? Like I said, he knows how to manage a game. He managed his way, and his coach managed him through the game till they got to the point where they found things that were comfortable for him. And like you said, three touchdowns in the fourth quarter, two passing, one rushing. He's his that part of his game, I think, will continue to develop also. Just running at key times, a quarterback who can run is dangerous in the red zone because he's hard to account for.
That's right.
When you're 11 on 11, the guy who has the quarterback is deep in the end zone somewhere. And it's just a foot race at that point. And he's going to win a lot of those.
That's right. And one of those touchdowns he got to Jefferson. So
He threaded that thing.
yeah, right. But when I say I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about the locker room. The locker
Okay.
room has their quarterback.
Uh,
The organization, their support in him and letting Darnold go,
right.
he in that fourth quarter, he put the stamp on, okay,
He,
yeah, you guys made the right decision.
like you said, he solidified their belief in him in
Right,
that
right,
quarter.
right. So, like you said, the season is going to be important for him
Mm-hmm.
to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And we both trust Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. Yes.
So we kind of are already saying this is gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, in a lot of ways, you're right. With O'Connell as the coach, it would almost be hard for it not to work, right? If he has an adequate quarterback, he's going to get whatever that guy has in him, he's going to get it out of him.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you've got somebody who's above average, he's
right.
going to get an above average performance out of that guy.
And that performance just is a building block for what they'll be able to do in the future.
Yes, yes, I agree. I
Getting the win is a bonus,
yes,
right? But just having that performance, yeah, they got one.
yes. So we finished up Minnesota. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears now. How do you think the Bears should feel about their performance after this week?
The Bears should feel uncertain. The Bears are going to need to win games in order to keep Caleb interested in playing football.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
You don't
When
go
things
ahead, go ahead, finish
got
what you're saying.
tough for him, I don't want to say he looked like he checked out, but
Hmm,
he was really confused and sitting on the sideline. He was sitting by himself. There wasn't a lot of communication between him and teammates and coaches, and so he isolated himself when things were not going well. That's got to change.
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
In his When you watch the game, the first half, he was joyful, he was having a good time. But then when things started to turn and they weren't successful, they were going three and out and having to punt. He was dejected, like physically
Mhm.
see that kind of happening to him, like a fighter that knew that I can't block these punches, right? So for the Bears, they should be concerned
Mhm.
in that aspect of it. And the inaccuracies again,
Mhm.
and holding the ball too long.
Mhm.
So I think the Bears should be concerned. And also they should be a little concerned with some of the coaching decisions that Ben Johnson made,
Mhm.
right? The challenging of the fumble by I think it was Noah where or Hawkinson
Okay.
down fumble. They challenged that and then it
Right.
cost them a timeout. That could have been valuable at the end of the game.
Right.
And then also not attempting the onside kick when you were down three and you just kick the ball down the field and you
Right.
let
Right.
run the clock out. So I think there's got to be a little bit of concern after week one, but it's week one, right? So
Right.
I'm not gonna if I'm a Chicago fan and I'm listening to sports radio in Chicago, I wouldn't be calling in and then saying the season's over or I'm never gonna watch this team again.
Okay.
But I understand how Chicago fans will feel
Yeah.
because this looks a lot like what it's been like the last 10 years.
It's looking similar, right? It's looking like Trubisky. It's looking like Fields, right?
Right.
I have you'll hear me talk about my cousin Zach, who lives in Chicago, right? Grew up in Chicago, but
Mhm.
he's a Packers fan.
Okay.
He's always riding the Bears, and when they drafted Caleb, he said Bears fans think they just got a brand new steak, and all they got is a pack of fish sticks. I said, "Come on, man, my man, not fish sticks."
Right. That's good. That's good.
so, yeah, my cousin is always riding Caleb. He he looks for his flaws. And I think he makes it easy. He being Caleb makes it easy because of his personality.
Correct.
Um, it's always concerning to me when the quarterback is not the guy everybody on the team is defending. Right? He's not the guy that everybody on the team recognizes is their leader, and we're going to do everything we can to protect our leader.
That's right.
Don't hear and see a lot of that right now in Chicago, and that part of it is the part that concerns me.
That's
Uh,
right.
Even more than his play. Some of it, to me, I still think is maturity. Right? The Um, Coddled athlete, I still think is in him. You know, when you're good, when you're that good as a high school and college player, when you're that much better than everybody else, you're going to get some privileges everybody else doesn't get, right?
Mhm.
And some things will come easy to you because you're just better than everybody else. When you reach this level, you're not better than everybody else, right? And it isn't as easy. And you can't wear it on your sleeve all the time, right? You can't wear it on your face. You can't wear your frustration on your face when you are a leader of men. They have to see confidence in you at all times. They can't see you. You can't be the, you don't get to be the guy to ride the roller coaster because you are the leader. So, yeah, that part of it would be concerning to me also. The play, I think, eventually will come around because he's just too good of an athlete for it not to. And he's working with a coach who is too good of a coach for it not to. My concern is about his leadership. And will the team follow him?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Mhm. Mhm.
that. And then we come to the team at the bottom of the division after week 1, the Detroit Lions. And tell me, what do you think, or how do you think Lions fans should feel about their team after week 1?
In my mind, the Lions clearly had the worst performance in the NFC North.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree.
Their trench play
Mm,
is the offensive line,
mm,
they need to gel quickly. They need to come together. They need to work on their communication,
mm,
to work on verbal and nonverbal.
mm.
Because you look at that game, there were moments where two of the offensive line players are standing right next to each other with nobody to block.
And didn't block anybody.
And this happened several
It
times.
happened multiple times.
And Jared Goff is running for his life,
And
right?
when one of those guys is the center,
Yes,
you communication has completely broken down. How does the center not know who to block?
right.
That happened on more than one occasion. Yeah, I would agree.
But they gotta come together because that offense, the Detroit Lions offense, is a timing offense. There's precision there, and you have to give Jared Goff time and space to go through his progressions,
Mm.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
when I say they probably had the worst performance,
Hmm.
they had the worst performance. And
Yeah.
then on the defensive side, no pressure on Jordan Love for most of the game. You can't give a quarterback, an ascending quarterback, that much space and time to stand back there and pick you apart. And your defensive backs and safeties are not good enough to cover somebody for 10 seconds.
Right.
One, one on one. So they're so both sides of the ball, the trenches, they gotta pull that together. They
Yeah,
gotta pull it together.
yeah.
You and back to the offensive line real quickly.
Mhm.
You had two last year. You had two rushers that rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Yes.
In this game, they averaged just over 2 yards per carry.
Was 2.1.
Yeah. So, so on rushing downs or rushing plays, you're not you're not pushing the line. And then on passing plays, you're looking for somebody to block. So they gotta pull that together. And then back to the defense, the inability of yes, Hutchinson's going to be double teamed. That means that you have defensive tr players, defensive line players in the trenches that have one-on-ones. You have to win your one-on-ones.
Yeah, yeah,
Have to.
yeah, yeah.
None of you can get off the
Yeah.
ball, opponent. So those things they gotta clear up.
Yeah, I agree. They struggled. They did have the worst performance this week, and it did start in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I actually thought secondary was playing well until Arnold got hurt, and they had to, bring in some other guys after he got hurt. Um, you're right. They even tried blitzing a couple of times. They got no pressure. Like I said in our preview show, Jack Campbell just is not a pass rusher. For as good an athlete he has no pass rush skills. Derek Barnes is a better pass rusher. Um, I just thought the Packers O line did a better job than the Lions D line. They, like you said, they won all the one-on-one battles. They
Hmm.
chipped, they nudged, they double teamed Hutch, and their offensive linemen just won all the other battles. So, and that was the difference in that game, and that's why they controlled that game. So yeah, I think they definitely should be concerned with D line play. Definitely going to have to look to do some things differently there. But I thought the linebackers, other than are in the passing game and the run game, I thought they played well. They shut down the run completely in the first half. Green Bay started to get it going in the second half. I think they did have 58 yards rushing in the first half after only having 11. I mean, in the second half, after only having 11 rushing yards in the first half. So I still think they'll continue to focus on shutting down the run, trying to get teams into long yardage situations, and then try to and they I didn't think they tackled well either. You know, try to rush the passer, get the quarterback to throw the ball early and tackle. I didn't think they tackled very well either. I
Yeah.
thought that needed to be a little bit better. And offensively, like you said, multiple plays with linemen who don't block anybody. I heard all the talk on ESPN about missing Ben Johnson. Yeah, I wonder how well Ben Johnson's plays would have worked if he had two guys who don't block anybody.
Right. Yeah.
And the Lions did lose it. They lost an All-Pro center and a Pro Bowl guard. You're not going to lose that level of talent and not see a drop in your play. So
Right.
I definitely expected to see a drop in play, but you got to block somebody. And it would be one thing if a guy is just whooping your ass, but
Hmm.
when you don't block anybody, you make it easy
Yeah.
for the defense. So yeah, they've definitely got some communication issues on offense to be concerned about.
And I think that one of the things that we have to explore is the lack of starters playing in the preseason, especially for their offensive line. Because you have young players coming in that don't have a lot of reps.
Hmm.
They could have gotten some live reps in the preseason, but now you're basically treating like these first couple games as your preseason
Hmm.
and putting these young men under pressure to learn when it matters. When you could have done this in the preseason. Like
Yeah,
just give them some live reps.
I've heard that discussion. And there are both schools of thought on whether teams should and should not play starters during the preseason. Uh, Live reps never hurt, right? They
Yeah.
never hurt in the development. The only thing about it I would say is I don't know how live reps would have, because they didn't, again, it wasn't them getting beat by another guy, right? It was they didn't know what to do.
Right.
So let me ask you this. Do you think any of the struggles the Lions had this week were due to their change in offensive coordinator?
I don't believe so. When
Yeah.
it when it comes to play calling, designing plays, your your players need to execute the plays, and there was just a lack of that. We talked about their their offensive linemen just standing around, not, not blocking or
You don't
where to go or anything like that. That's not an offensive coordinator issue.
you don't think the coach coached that?
That's a breakdown in communication. So I think there's no connection there.
I agree, and I think the talking heads on the networks who say that they see what happened Sunday as an issue with the change in offensive coordinator. I disagree with that. Also, I think that's more them maintaining the narrative that they've been saying all off season, and it's sort of
Right.
see how right I was.
Right.
I would agree with you.
And they're doing the same thing on the defensive side too.
Yes, yes,
Right.
I agree. I agree. All right, let's talk about the games this week. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, we have Washington at Green Bay. So tell me what you think about that game and who do you see winning that game?
Well, I- I'm using this game as my upset pick of the week.
Okay, okay.
And the reason I say this is because Green Bay is favored by 3.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think I I think the Commanders can get Green Bay.
Mm,
I think they can, right? I what I'm watching for is to see more of Micah and how the Commanders O line handle Micah.
mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking to see. But Jaden Daniels has a quick release.
Yes, yes.
So it could be a very high scoring game at the end of it, but I'm using that as my upset pick of the week.
Okay, all right.
What do you
Go
think?
go ahead and give me a score on that one then.
I got the Commanders 34, Packers 31.
Okay, yeah, you do have a high scoring game. Okay. All right. Yeah, in that one, I'm going to take Packers at home on a Thursday night. I agree with you about it being an interesting part of that game being, let's see, the pass rush of the Packers against Jaden Daniels and the O line of the Commanders because they handled the Giants last week, man, and the Giants have a team that can get after the quarterback. And I thought Washington did a good job against them last week. So yeah, that will be an interesting part of this game. Um, I've got a 28-24 Green Bay. I think Green Bay at home, Thursday night, short week. Um, it's you would think the home team has an advantage at home on Thursday nights, but a lot of times, man, the road team comes in and just comes in with a big surprise. But I'm going with Green Bay at home in that game, 28-24
On a short week
on
after
the short week.
after they expended all that juice on the Lions.
That's the concern, right? That's if they were on the road, I would agree with you 100%. But
Yeah,
yeah, that is the thing. Can they get that high again
right.
for another game? My concern about Washington is that they played on the road last week, and then they're a short week on the road this week. But like I said, those Thursday night games, man, for whatever reason, that short week tends to neutralize the home field advantage. I don't think, I think the um, home team wins on Thursday night at a lower rate, and I forget the exact percentage, but they win at a lower rate on Thursday night than they do on Sundays, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and then our other game, Atlanta at Minnesota. Who do you have in that one?
I got the Vikings 24-6.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not feeling Atlanta.
you don't like Atlanta at all, do you?
Not feeling Atlanta at all.
we didn't uh, we didn't get into it, but when we were doing our preview shows, we were talking about teams from the North making the playoffs. I made a comment about if that many teams had some record for the NFC North, that means that Tampa and Atlanta probably didn't have a good season. And I remember you said Atlanta's a candidate. No belief in them at all. So tell me what you think about that game. How do you see that game going?
Pardon me?
I said, tell me how you see that game going.
I just see Atlanta's offense struggling.
Mm,
I see a lot of three and outs, punch, that type of thing. And the Vikings, their defense has showed that they can buckle down and hold an opponent when they need to. And I think the Vikings are going to be riding that wave of success from the fourth quarter, carrying that over. And I think the coaching staff is going to come up with a game plan that's going to be more consistent to how JJ plays.
okay.
So, and they're going to be I think they'll be more comfortable with getting the ball, letting the ball be in his hand and letting him throw that ball down there and getting those receivers involved in the game. So I think it might get out of hand really quickly.
Yeah. Okay, I would agree with you. I've got Minnesota winning this game also. I've got it a little bit closer than you have, a little bit more competitive. Atlanta was competitive last week and missed the game-winning field goal. And they had an opportunity to win that game, but coming off a loss the way they did, going on the road, yeah, I don't see them winning this game either. But I think it'll be a little closer. I've got Minnesota 21, Atlanta 17.
Okay.
And then lastly, uh, the reason I say this game for last, it is a division game, and the loser of this game will be 0 and 2. And your chances of making the playoffs after starting the season 0 and 2 diminishes greatly.
hmm
And
hmm
if you have aspirations of making the playoffs, you cannot start 0 and 2. All right, so tell us, what do you see happening in the Chicago at Detroit game?
Yeah, I got Detroit 28, Chicago 10. What I see happening is the defense, that line, taking it personally.
Mm,
That speaks beat down, taking that personally and getting after Caleb. Offensively, I see Detroit incorporating Isaac Tesla into the offense a lot earlier.
mm.
He seems to be able to catch anything that's within 2 feet of him.
He's got hands, doesn't
So I anticipate them incorporating him into the mix. And maybe we start to see Jameer out in the slot,
he? Mm,
right? Getting that ball out to him in the open field. So I just feel like Detroit offensively, they're going to play quicker to try and eliminate some of the issues they're having with the O line. So and I just don't feel like Chicago is ready to play a Detroit Lions team.
mm. Yeah, I can see that. I have Detroit winning this game also. I've got it 31-21. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, because um, I think Chicago will be able to score points against Detroit's defense. I agree with you. I think Detroit's offense will play a lot better. I think the O line will take their poor performance personally and play a lot better this week. Chicago's D line is not as good as Green Bay's D line, so I think that will have some impact also on their ability to play better. Um, Defensively, I the Lions just don't have the pass rush to shut people down. So I don't think they'll be shutting down Chicago. I think Detroit will get out in front, and Chicago will just be throwing the ball and catching up. I don't think the score, like the Detroit Green Bay game, that score was not as uh, indicative. The score was not indicative of how the game went, right?
Right.
Green Bay completely controlled that game, even though the score doesn't look like they dominated it. That's why I was struggling with a word at the beginning. It's like, well, they only won by 8 points. So is that dominating? I take that back. They won by 14 points. But that was even worse than 14 points, because really that last touchdown the Lions scored was, mop up. That was for the fantasy league guys, right? But I
Yeah,
agree with you about Tesla. I think they'll try to get him involved more. And unlike Jamison Williams, the kid catches everything with his hands.
he's an outstanding player so
I,
far.
I think we talked about rookies having impact earlier. I said Tyleek Williams for the Lions. I actually think Isaac Tesla will
Yeah,
be there, will be the rookie who will have the most impact for them.
right.
All right, Cal, anything else before we wrap up for the day, man? Anything the fans ought to be on the lookout for this week?
Fans should be looking out for that matchup of Micah versus the Commanders' offensive line. That should excite you as a NFC North fan. Just seeing what this guy's going to do with more plays, playing more than 9 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. You want to see what that's going to look like. And then secondarily, I think you want to see does JJ McCarthy continue to grow?
Okay.
Are we building on that fourth quarter, that amazing fourth quarter? So those are the two things that I'll be looking at in this week. So, and yeah, we're here in Detroit. We just want to get a win against Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, it is the matchup Atlanta versus Minnesota, JJ versus Michael Penix. Right, one was they were drafted right after each other in the draft. So watching that matchup this week, I'm definitely interested in. And then, like you said, that Chicago Green Bay matchup, Ben Johnson coming back to Detroit for the first time. Um, how will his emotions run in this game? Will he get emotional and make emotional coaching decisions in this game?
Yeah.
And we will see how that runs. All right, tell us, with that, man, that will wrap it up for week two as we prepare for week two in the NFL after an outstanding week one. Looking forward to the games this week. Anything as we wrap up?
Just want to remind everyone that Will and I are realtors in the state of Michigan. So if you have any real estate needs, anywhere from Port Huron on the east side all the way over to Grand Rapids or Grand Haven on the west side, reach out to us so we can help you out.
Absolutely. Hey, with that, folks, we will see you next time. All right, my man.